Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another broadcast of the Lawrence Report. On tonight's broadcast, we'll be discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now, this right here is a brand new Disney Plus series that just came out. In fact, Disney, they actually moved it up a day earlier for all the fans, including myself, to let us stream this series a day early. So I'm happy about that. And as we all know, there was a Percy Jackson movie that came out a couple years ago, but is no comparison to what we have now. I think this right here, as a fan of Percy Jackson myself, I think this one right here is the one that we have been waiting on, right? So I'm going to give a quick synopsis of what this current series is about, the first two episodes about what it's really about, and then I'm going to get into my breakdown of episodes 1 and 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, right? So let's get into it. Percy Jackson is a 12-year-old modern demigod who is now just coming to terms with his newfound powers, but Zeus accuses him of stealing his master Lightning Thunderbolt. With the help of his friends Grover and Annabeth, Percy must embark on an adventure of a lifetime to find it and to restore order back to Olympus. For me, Percy Jackson, this kind of reminds me of, to me, it kind of falls underneath the umbrella of like stories we've seen before, like Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia, stuff like that right there. That kind of, it falls into that category for me. And not only do I think it's great for teens, I think this series right here is definitely great for adults as well. Because again, if you're into Greek gods, knowing about Athena, Poseidon, Zeus, Hades, if you know about guys like that, Greek gods like that, and mythology basically, I think this is definitely the show that you would definitely enjoy for sure. Now, for me, like I said, I had a very, very good time with episodes 1 and 2. And I think for any child like myself, when I was a child, I think we can relate to a lot of what Percy's dealing with in this first episode, right? In this first episode, he's kind of like this awkward teenager. He sees things that unfortunately some other people aren't able to see, right? Because he has like such a big imagination. But one of the reasons why he's seeing these things because, well, he is half human, half god, resulting into him being a demigod, right? So even at school, they're trying to, diagnose him as ADHD and having dyslexia and having all these other problems and things of that nature. But as I said, I can relate to him because I had a big imagination growing up myself as a kid. So, for Percy, he has these powers, right? But it seems like he's almost alone. Like nobody else is seeing what he's seeing, right? And, even his teachers, they can't believe what's going on with him. And he actually gets sent to the principal office for, causing this disruption and things of that nature. And he ends up pushing this one girl into a fountain. And, for Percy, he has a best friend by the name of Grover, right? But, as I said earlier, unfortunately, Percy ends up having to go to the principal office, and Grover pretty much rats him out and agrees that, yeah, he has been doing some crazy things. He ended up pushing that young lady into the water, but Grover, he ratted him out for a good reason, right? And then, as Percy's dealing with these, these new abilities, these powers, eventually he does end up asking his mom, what's going on with me. His mom eventually comes out when she takes him on this trip. She tells him that, I fell in love with a man, or a person I thought was a man, but it turned out to be a god, and that you are a demigod, right? That means that you have powers. You're one of those Greek gods. Like you fall under the umbrella of Zeus, Athena, Poseidon. And, in episode 2, we find out how he is connected to Poseidon, who Poseidon is basically, his father, right? And one of the crazy parts that it kind of threw me for a loop for a second, but I completely understand why he was like this. Grover basically ended up throwing Percy underneath the bus, right? Because even Grover ends up showing up to he ends up showing up to where Percy and his mother is currently staying at, right? And it is revealed that Grover is actually one of the satyr animals or beasts, I guess you could say, mythological creatures, I guess you could say, because he's like half goat or whatever. And that's one thing Percy notices. He looks down at his feet. He notices like these big old goat feet or whatever. And Grover, his thing is he's supposed to protect Percy, right? He's supposed to be like a personal bodyguard for Percy, but he ends up failing. And while they're traveling and doing those things, they end up being met by another great big creature that, unfortunately, we thought that creature actually killed Percy's mother, but in fact, that's not the case. In episode 2, we find out what's exactly going on with Percy's mother. So in episode 2, we really get a chance to see some of Percy Jackson's friends, right? We end up meeting Annabeth, who was the daughter of Athena, right? We also get a chance to meet Luke. He is the son of Hermes. Now, Luke ends up becoming kind of like an ally to Percy. Kind of shows him the ropes of how things are done, at the camp, which I thought was pretty dope. And unfortunately, there is a bully. I forgot to mention this right here, but in the first episode, Percy was, kind of bullied. And in the second episode, he gets even bullied even more by a young woman by the name of Clarice. Now, Clarice is the daughter of Ares. Now, of course, Ares to be the god of war. Now, Percy, he's sent to, this camp, where there's other people that are just like him, right? And, that's when he ends up meeting Annabeth and a bunch of other characters. But this Clarice girl, she's really a big-time bully, of course, daughter of Hades. So, of course, she's going to be trouble, right? And she tests him so much. She even tried to give this man a swirly in the bathroom. And that won't happen because, again, his father is Poseidon, right? So, of course, in the toilet, there's water in the toilet, right? So the water ends up shooting back at her, which I thought was pretty funny. But again, she's going to try to get back at him again. And she does try to. They end up going to like a little battle before they end up doing the whole capture the flag thing. And, Percy is still fighting her off because of, the strength of that he has. But for Percy, at the same time, while he's at his camp, he's trying to adjust and, trying to fit in and trying to find his way. At the same time, I kind of feel bad for him because it's kind of like he felt like it was almost like he was abandoned by, his mother, the situation with the Minotaur earlier, trying to find out who his real father is, things of that nature right there. But we do end up finding out, who his Greek father is, which is Poseidon, right? And for him, towards the end, they end up asking him to go on this quest. Now, in episode 2, we get a chance to meet Annabeth, right? And it's revealed that she has been watching Percy for quite some time, just to make sure that he actually is the one that everybody's talking about, right? She is the daughter of Athena as well. And, one thing that I did like about it, showed briefly about her powers is, the ability of invisibility, right? She has like this hat that kind of allows her to appear and really disappear at her own time. And like I said before, she tells Percy that I've been watching you, trying to make sure that you are who you say you are, right? And I think as the story goes on, we're going to get more information on the story of Annabeth and including more information on her background as well. So while Percy, is getting adjusted to life at camp, he ends up meeting a friend by the name of Luke. Luke is the son of the Greek god Hermes, right? So, Luke, one of his missions is to make sure that Percy is settled in, that he knows the ropes. And for Annabeth, she ends up pushing, we did see this right here also, that, towards the end of the episode, well, throughout the episode, basically, Percy is on a search to find out who his father is, right? Like, what order under the Greek gods do he falls under, right? And towards the end of the episode, we do see that Annabeth pushes him into the water, right? He just comes off battle, fighting with Clarice, right? And he has a couple wounds, right? And his wounds are automatically, magically healed as he goes into the water. And he looks up and he sees this big old trident, and it is confirmed that his father, who he's been searching for, who he's been wondering, what order do I fall under? His father is actually Poseidon. So now, Percy knows, who his father is, but in the back of his mind, he's also searching for his mother, right? So unfortunately, there is a quest that he must go on, like a journey that he must go on, right? It is revealed that Zeus is looking for his master thunderbolt, right? And they believe that Poseidon may have something to do with it, but it's actually Hades, right? And Hades, Grover reveals that Hades is actually has Percy's mother alive down there in the underworld, right? So now, with that information right there, Percy's like, okay, well, if you're going to see me on this mission, I'm going to get my mother, and at the same time, I'm going to do everything I can to basically stop this big potential Greek war that is happening between the gods. So, and that's how episode 2 ends, right? You know, now Percy, he knows the identity of his father. He also knows that his mother's alive, and now he must go down to the underworld to try to stop things, bad things, from potentially spiraling out of control between the gods. So, like I said, I'm excited about this series right here. If you've been watching, let me know. Have you read some of the Percy Jackson movies from back? Have you read some of the Percy Jackson stories from back in the day? Have you watched some of the movies? Please let me know below in the comments. And does this current series live up to your hype right now? For me, if I had to rate this episode, it's probably a solid 9 for me. Very good series. I'm excited to see the way things turns out right there. And again, if you're a fan of Greek mythology, this is without a doubt the series for you. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Lawrence Report.